Berlin and come back probably and tell their friends to come back. And I feel like the man that just came, he said he was a state arts council that Ivy took around town. His whole purpose. Humanities are things that go together. Our histories are incredibly important, and we have a chance to use this space in a way that could do a couple of things. Share the story of Berlin. It could also, instead of possibly being retail, give us a space that might be able to ride out any kind of economic boom or bust. And I know, and I'm going to reiterate what Lisa said, no one is looking for a building that's not going to pay its own way. That would also be irresponsible, incredibly irresponsible. So I think there are ways that can be explored as to how to make that building viable economically, but at the same time not sort of renting it out to the top dollar, that we keep that balance of commerce and community. I think that's important.
Yeah, and I don't think we really wanted to get into too much minutia tonight, but just the concept and not comparing dollars and dollars, but this might not bring in as much dollars, but it would bring much larger value than any dollar can be placed on it through a attraction, through quality of life, through bringing in other parts of the community into downtown and really sharing their story and in a much greater way. Like Germantown School, maybe people visiting, oh, it's just a couple miles away, well, we'll definitely go there. I feel like, that community is really on the move, and the churches have gotten grants and they're working on renovations, and the school has new exhibits, and Tyree Church is bringing back camp meetings, and there's just so many cool things happening in that community that could be shared here as part of our community and let visitors know what's happening.
From a heritage perspective, how does this serve something that the Calvin B. Taylor House does not, and that the community center, what void exists there?
I think the Taylor House Museum tells their story of Calvin B. Taylor and the town and that house itself. But what we would be doing is just painting a much broader regional heritage approach to other areas like Germantown, like Radcliffe House, like, I don't know, maybe the new Museum of Eastern Shore Culture in Salisbury, or places that people could go to from here. Just a regional, when I worked for Worcester County for 31 years, we did a lot of regional work and regional partnerships, and funders love those kind of projects. They love bringing in as many partners and people as possible, and it works.
It sounds great, but I'm just wondering how, and my question is, I'm just asking the question, why wouldn't that serve a better purpose together at the Calvin B. Taylor House?
Well, and actually what I'm going to, right now, really the Welcome Center is also a museum space. There are exhibits there and things that there are artifacts from Runaway Bride that we do not have in our collection. There are the various posters and things, so that already operates sort of ad hoc as a historical space. The Taylor House Museum, right now, we're currently a seasonal museum. We're open March through October, and unfortunately, our hours are 4 days a week. So a Welcome Center, I think it has potential for that.
I'm not talking about the Welcome Center.
Yeah,
I'm saying more like the partnership for the heritage component.
Yeah, so that front space, let's just call it the front space that Lisa's speaking about, becoming more of a regional space. I think that would allow more people to see it, because if they're coming in for whatever reason, it's just another place to share the stories. We have limited space. We have specific parameters. We are, like Lisa was saying, part of our house is a historic house space that cannot be turned into exhibit space per se. Plus, our mission is to tell the stories of Berlin. We do have an exhibit about Burdelltown. We do have an exhibit about Reverend Tinley. But this space, I think, could be another place to sort of synthesize and expand the stories that the Taylor House Museum tells as part of our mission.
Ms. Carroll?
I like Diane and I both could speak to Germantown School. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Carol Rose,
Sure.
Carol House, a museum, and Georgetown School Museum, and Weehart Berlin, and some others. But with Germantown School, in the cold weather months in early spring, Dr. Small has started doing lecture series on Saturday. And they've gotten so popular that we fill the room. You know, with fire code, we couldn't get any more folk in there. And having a space like Melissa is saying, where we can have more of what's going on out there. It's amazing. We have people come from Salisbury. We've had people coming from Wilmington that get our emails, and when they know that Patrick Henry's going to do an exhibit, they come. So the more people that know about the school, the more people come and visit. And I don't know if everybody here has ever been out there, but what's been done with grants and so forth and it's just amazing. And we all do so much with our children, and that's important. So I really, you know, I will say, Friday at 2 o'clock, I left my house, had to come to town, parked down to church, and I'm walking up, and I'm right to the visitor center. There's a couple, and I could tell they were visiting, and they were having an issue. And I just walked over and introduced myself. And I said, "Are you visiting? Do you need help?" Well, they did. Their daughter was at Acetate camping, and they didn't know how to get there from here. Showed them how, told them how, and I said, "Well, come on in here and see some of the restaurants we have and our, you know, the brochure." They went in. Allison saw me, and Allison at the door, and I introduced her. You know, we got visitors. I have done that a million times. If that place is going as our welcome center, visitor center, there's no need to open one anywhere else. I am telling you that our visitors don't know to go down that way. And if you ride through this town, even on a rainy day or what, there are people that do go to Fortune and Social and maybe some of the shops. Very, very few people are on Main Street. What is the rationale about wanting to sell it as a town so desperate for $400,000 or $500,000 that we've got to sell a building that I feel is.
I don't know where that's coming from, but that's
Well,
not.
where did that come from? Why?
So the reason we're having this meeting is because the council wanted to have a discussion about what was next for the visitor center. And I think, as Vice President Burrell said, this may be a little premature. We are moving economic development over here to the planning building.
Well, I know.
Which isn't new, because that's really where economic development started. But the idea of what to do with the building next, no firm decision has been made.
But why would you all even think about selling it? I mean,
Nobody has said.
Where'd that idea come from?
Well, because for a staff report, we have to come up with the different ideas that are possible. And for that, selling is an option.
But
It is something that has to be in a
shouldn't be. It
Tell me,
shouldn't be.
Bob,
If
tell me.
you all care about this town and our businesses and our restaurants and the citizens that their tax money pay most of that, why would you even have that as an option? It doesn't make sense.
Tell me what you would like.
Well, I would like to have it be what Lisa and Melissa have talked about. There are enough people in this whole community that we work together on our town history and events and things that get people here.
Tell
And
me
there-
what you, specifically, tell me what you would like from the town.
From the town?
Yes.
I'd like you to just to take the idea of selling that building out of the atmosphere, so nobody would even think you even want to do that. And in a year, for Lord's sake, you're all intelligent people, so are they.
I'm too old, but there's no reason why something really good could come from this. I mean, I'm sorry, I just don't see it. If you put someplace like with those beautiful windows and flowers, and people know it, they see it, they know where it is. There's people in there all the time, and I'm telling you, nobody's going to, there's no need to have it. Have any kind of visitor center. If it can't be on Main Street, this is people that I've spoken to, very concerned. I'm sorry nobody's here tonight, but
But I think the important takeaway is that what we do know will very likely occur is staff would be moved from the building closer to town hall.
And that
I
makes sense.
care about
Yeah.
But I'm just making sure that we're all on the same page. So that, because right now what we're doing is it's really home to two personnel. And as we said, it's difficult when we're sending people to try and collaborate or get things done. We've got to send them to multiple locations.
well, I never
So from a
understood
staffing
why
model-
I get number over there to begin with.
So from a staffing model, they will be coming, economic development will
And that
come
makes,
this
that
way.
makes.
Well, they should be somewhere with people.
Before we run out
there.
of time, I know Diana is here. and
Commissioner
we
Bruno?
can- Come on.
Don't rush it, please, we got a whole year.
We're not trying to.
Well, but y'all do rush stuff. You rush big stuff and it gets screwed up and people get mad and there's no need for it. You've got to take the time to think about something like this. Give yourself a little time to think about it. Rush something.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here as citizen of Berlin.
Okay.
Not Commissioner.
Miss Diana Purnell.
Thank you.
I will always address you as Commissioner first.
Thank you very much. But to answer the question that you asked as to how does Germantown heritage play into Berlin heritage?
Not that, no, that was not the question.
Okay.
But my question is how does this space fill a void that is left by, or perceived by the folks that are speaking tonight, a perceived void because of what the work that we're doing at the community center to try and make sure that it has a heritage component, and then the work that's being done at the Calvin B. Taylor House. I wanted to know where the void exists in town for promoting that heritage. That's what I was asking.
Okay, let me go back 50 years, because I've been in Berlin for 50 years. Okay? When I came to Berlin, Berlin was thriving a little bit. You had different things going on. You had the man that had everything in the building that I was scared to go into because he was like, okay, we're leaving. Bottom line is, when it comes to heritage, Berlin proper, should always strive to bring Berlin proper with everything around it. That includes the black community. If it's the Hispanic community, we should all be coming together. One point. If we got one point that we can bring all that information together and then it spreads back out again, it's going to be the center that you're talking about, that they want to do. Just today, I had a customer that's purchased a condo in Ocean City. I don't know why, because they were there. And there was a Caucasian couple from Pennsylvania. The questions, I talked to them for a good 45 minutes about Berlin. We should have a place that those people can come to, not to me on Mary Road, but come to Berlin to know about Berlin. They wanted to know about Berlin, period. Not Berlin downtown, not great little shops, not Berlin across Flower Street or whatever, but they wanted to know about Berlin. That includes you, me, and everybody else. And we need a central voice that can say, well, listen, this is what's going on, but let me tell you where you can go and see some of the things that's happening with the Berlin. Because Berlin is not Berlin by itself. Berlin proper is built because of the way that it is because of all of us. Not just one, but all of us. We pay our taxes, we do everything. So to have growth, in order to have growth and to make it work for you as a town, for us on the other side, for Germantown School, we need a voice that can speak and say, listen, let me tell you about this, and that, and the other one. Taylor The Taylor House has a great voice, and they've been doing a great work. But Germantown School can't necessarily be voiced out of the Taylor House because it's a whole different entity, and it's a small entity compared to what we're doing over in Germantown. Germantown is at the point now that we can become national. Got that last week. I was in North Carolina for a class reunion, our 59th class reunion. And one of my very dear friends, and we went to school together, was a librarian, one of the colleges in North Carolina. She is now into heritage. She said, I know all about Dr. Tinley, I know about Dr. Tinley. And she said, there's another artist that's in your area, Patrick Henry, I know all about that. So she wants to come because we are making use, not only just in Berlin, whatever, throughout the nation. So if we got a central location, somebody roll in town, and they go to the center and say, I want to know about Germantown School. I want to know about Dr. Tinley. They tell me you have an artist in town by the name of Patrick Henry. I want to know where it is. I want to think I can get to meet him. I want to know this about Berlin. You've got a cohesive message in one place. They're not standing in my warehouse and I'm telling them about it. But I can say, you can go downtown Berlin, you can find out about this, you can find out about that. Because right now, what we have in Berlin and how the growth is taking place, a lot of small towns would kill for. I'm telling you, heritage is number one. Every time a little town in North Carolina where I came from, that you couldn't even go in the same building with people, would buy a ticket for a friend of mine, and bring him from Japan back to North Carolina to talk about he's a guitarist, and he played with bass guitarists. He played with most of all the big bands around. So everybody is into heritage now. Berlin got a lot of great Harrisons, we talked with them.
And it's in our strategic plan. We worked hard to make sure that heritage is.
Exactly, and that's what we need to do. So you want to know how it all works together? Bringing it together under one roof, having somebody to say, this is where we need to go, and this is what we need to do. And I think we can do that across the street, down the street a little bit, and you need that heartbeat for Berlin. We need that heartbeat. So I agree with Lisa and Melissa. We need that. I need that in my other road and down the road here. I need that because I need to be able to say, look, you can come to Berlin. Because a couple of things is happening in the county that you need to stay right on track with what's happening here. Because we need every visitor that we can get to come in town and purchase and do whatever. Because we got a gem. Let's not smother the gem that we have. And if you got that building, think about all the things that can happen in that building with these different organizations, the state, the county, you guys here. And our survival right now depends on all of us working together on one accord. It's not easy out here right now, it's on one accord, but I can say, I like my Mary, progressive, whatever. Or I like Lisa and Melissa because we're bringing things together, we're working together. And we need to do that. That's what we need to present. That's how heritage works. It's never a separate thing, it's always a together thing. But that's my 2 cents. Okay?
You already said one more minute. The Maryland Library Association had a convention in Ocean City this spring. 42, I believe, of them from all over the state of Maryland came to New Bethel Methodist Church, toured the church. They had a fried chicken, Eastern Shore lunch with County Taylor House servers and Germantown School servers. They walked up toward Germantown School, got in their cars, drove over and toured Calvin B. Taylor House Museum. They contacted us because they wanted to visit. Can you imagine how much fun we had with them, and they had with us, and the Rural Maryland Council contacted Germantown School. They had been to see from some of the grants we had gotten. They called this spring and wanted to have their spring PowerPoint regarding the new grant season at Germantown School.
And they do.
And we have people come, Frederick County, all the counties, and we had, how many people we had.
Yeah.
We had lunch outside under the pavilion. I went just to be there at the eating. People are trying to come to us, and that's the kind of thing where the word gets out, not only about the museum, but how wonderful people are here, how people are treated when they come here. So I'm just saying, please, really, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Ellen, and then I'd like to open it up to the council.
I'm Ellen Wiley, I won't talk
You're
long,
okay, you're fine.
but I, as a private citizen, I'm encouraged by keeping the center for the very reason that the ladies and gentlemen have talked about. I think it's important, and I believe that the town has invested money in that, and it's well worth it. It's well worth it. And maybe down the road, things could change, but I think it's the investment that the town has given to that center is going to be for the good of the town of Berlin. So I just want to say that, that's all.
All right, open it up to any further discussion with the council.
Yeah, I just have a couple of questions for Ivy, and I apologize because, I didn't prepare her for these questions. But, so looking at the whole kit and caboodle here, the National Main Street program that we're a member of, does it stipulate anything in terms of a visitor center or a heritage, something that has to be on the main street that's designated?
No, it doesn't. It's encouraged, though, to have a variety of cultural and community spaces in your downtown. It's a mixed use. You have retail, you have restaurants, you have nonprofits, you have services. So it definitely enhances the downtown, for sure.
And so as the Economic and Community Development Director, I'm not asking for a recommendation, but I'm asking you in that hat, because you're also a resident of our town. Is there a vision that you see that coincides or not with what some of the ideas have been shared with tonight?
Well, sure. That building is used mostly for storage. We, in the back offices, we don't know what we're going to do with all of the things that we need to do our work in downtown. We have all of our brochures stored there. We have event signs and just everything for the Christmas parade and Ice World, just all of the events we have there. The Taylor House Museum uses the back closet for their events also. So without that, we're going to have to get something else. So we don't know where storage is going to be. So if you're asking me for my recommendation, I recommend we should not sell that building. That building is an asset to our town. And I don't know where else we're going to have our stuff if it's
The
not
storage-
in that building.
Just for everybody, but the storage is being factored in at Public Works. That way,
Okay.
The planning building?
Okay.
no,
Public Works.
Oh.
Public Works.
Okay.
Because we are constrained to the space here. And we've also offered the same things depending on whatever happens with the building for like the Taylor House and things of that nature. There should be enough storage at Public Works.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Ivy. Those are my questions. And I just wanted to, I couldn't find it here in the strategic plan, but I think that should the decision be to go the direction that's one of the ways that's been presented tonight, I think that would fulfill part of the One Berlin that we got into our strategic plan for the reasons that are really mentioned. I'm just rehashing at this moment. But I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, too, that spoke. And I understand that my colleagues think that this was premature, but I still contend that it was perfect timing. And we'll move forward together. So that's all I have for this.
I would just like to say to each of you that spoke this I would just like to say to each of you that spoke this evening, thank you very, very much. And beyond this discussion, I would like to say thanks to Mike for all of the time that he had put. Thank you much.
Yeah, I think when we have engagement like this, it's a great thing. That's what Berlin is all about, really. I do see opportunity in what was presented tonight. I have not looked at, I know we talked about, whether it's for sales on the table. I mean, I think all options are on the table, honestly. I think that I would like to see Berlin hold on to it as well. But I see opportunity in what was presented today. I definitely see value in celebrating, remembering our past, our present, and look to the future. So I do see opportunity there. There's opportunity to diversify potentially some of the offerings that we have in Berlin. There's obviously a ton of retail, ton of dining, ton of bars still, honestly. So I think I like what was presented tonight. I think it's certainly an opportunity for us to be able to spend the next several months thinking about it. And as it was stated by the mayor, the timeline is, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, September the building will be vacated.
I've already notified everybody.
Okay. So then folks will start slowly moving over there, I'm guessing. And then when would be the time, this for my colleagues up here, when would be the time to reconsider this? Is it maybe a year from now, as mentioned by Jack, but is it the spring when we see what the renovation project timeline is? Because I think, I don't know, whenever we see passion and ingenuity, I think it's something we should give it its further review. So,
and I mean, as I've said to this group as well, that came tonight, and I said, I find some grants, find some stuff, bring it to the table that offers like a pathway. That these are great ideas, but we need something that if we're going to embark on this, we need something that's more tangible with a clear funding pathway and direction. I think those things are great.
And
I've
I
said
think
that.
there's plenty of grants out there,
I
but we can't
understand
go
that.
after them until we know.
I
I
understand,
think one of the
but
things that needs to happen in the intervening months is a building assessment.
I
We
think
need
that's
to
important
figure
too.
out what needs to be done.
Yeah,
for
you
Berlin.
just can't,
But I think you have to at least, and Ivy and I talked about the same thing, I said the same thing to all of you, come up with some funding sources, right? It's one thing to say that the money's out there. It's another thing to really say, this is where we're going to go first. If that doesn't work out, this is where we're going.
and we
so
have
that
those. We do have.
That's fine.
those.
I'm just saying that I think it's important to have that in a presentation.
So I'm going to clarify then, Mayor, what you're saying. So what you're saying is, along with Steve's question, would be a good idea then in the spring to have this kind of presentation, but more formal presentation to the mayor and council stating like, here are various grants to go through. Is that what you are saying would be your next request?
I agree with identifying the grants. I don't know if I agree with the timeline, because think about the fact that if this building is not done and we're getting ready to work on public works, we may need it for storage. We may need certain things over at the visitor center, and we might not. I don't want to ask you to do the work thinking spring, only to say, Melissa, we really need that more than what we thought. So what I would say is do the work, figure out what your funding sources are. The timeline, I don't know yet. I think we really need to understand what the space looks like for public works, what the office and storage space looks like here, and then we can make a better decision.
Best laid plans amongst amendment articles that might have been. We
don't want you all to make
really need
decisions
to consider.
without us either, and that's, you all rush things through sometimes and don't think about them.
We
So,
really
I mean,
need
we can do what you're asking, but, we need a commitment from the mayor and council that no decision would be made about selling it or anything until you have a meeting, I guess a mayor and a council meeting where citizens can come just to talk. I mean, you don't even have
We
a
can't, but
resolution.
just to be clear, we can't, there's a process to dispose of public property. That's what you
Yes,
just informed by what that, we can't put a
I-
for sale sign.
No, no.
I
Go
know
ahead.
that, Jack, but I also know that you all do things too quick and you don't think about it. And you present something and then you're not gonna do it, and it angers people because they don't understand why they're being, and I'm talking about, I'll be honest, I'm talking about the parking lot. Everybody thinks it's an ideal place, it's a great place. But you didn't think, nobody thought about the people across the street and their property values. And everything's presented with landscaping. I mean, we've been all through this, but I'm just saying, you promise that it's gonna look like this, blah, blah, then you're gonna, Board of Zoning Appeals, and you wanna take this away. You can't do that to your citizens. It's not fair. It's just not fair. People need to know if you're gonna be doing a big project like that, people are in favor of it, it's a good place. I'm not arguing about that. I'm arguing about the fact that you all do stuff, big money, and it's over and done with before anybody even knows about it. And I'm not wrong, and you all know that. I'm done. I'll get back home.
So I guess what I'm asking, I agree with you, Mayor, that we need to, the next step would be to formalize what we're talking about. So my question to you would be, when that is formalized, at what point do we present that information in a formal setting in a mayor and council meeting?
Mayor,
Or whoever wants to.
I was just going to offer a suggestion that we do, I'm really impressed that, my understanding that this renovation is going to be done in a year. That's the goal.
Should be less than,
From December.
from December.
From December to December.
No, a year from now would
Oh.
be somewhat accurate.
Okay.
That is the goal.
That's the goal. Okay.
But the work would not start until December.
Right.
Right.
So might I just offer, I'm trying to do a timeline here in my head, that we revisit the status in February of the renovation and the storage.
We're gonna have to revisit
Where we
it
are.
pretty frequently because we have public meetings to hold.
Well,
So, the thing is that, like, I hear you, wanting a time, I know that's great. I'm hesitant to put a time frame on it. I think into the summer of next year is probably the likely time we would revisit it. I don't want to say, Melissa, it's going to be June, July, August. It might even be September, I don't know. But 2026, probably in the summer, I think spring's going to be too early. But you agree, Mayor?
Yeah, I would agree.
My reference to this discussion being premature comes from the expectation of this renovation is to provide all of our needs. How often have we looked at schools that have been built and when they open with portable classrooms? We need to say where we are with this renovation, when it is completed, assess the needs of the town, and I'm talking town staff and town operation, then we can proceed with the disposal of the building. But
But when you say disposal, please note that doesn't mean sale. That's right. Disposition.
I think I'm only, and I totally understand, and I'm just asking, per the mayor's request, that we formalize and that we present grants and information that would be the teeth behind this idea. An idea is great, but you're exactly right. We can't just float an idea and then have it be out there. I'm just asking if you are requesting, correctly so, that we provide hard facts, grants and things like that. I'm just asking, to sort of doesn't get lost in the shuffle, just.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can take this and just update it. Add a section that says these are our funding sources. This is kind of what it would take. You know what the building looks like. If there's build out costs, if there's stuff like that, it would be helpful for us to know that up front.
Perfect.
And you could do that sooner rather than later so it doesn't get lost in the shuffle.
Great.
But regarding continuing the conversation, we really got to see where we're at.
That part I totally get.
And I think, just, then I'll be done. Also, I think that maybe we can revisit everything about this around July 1 of next year, because that's going to be in the middle of the construction, hopefully. Right?
Hopefully, we'll get to it.
Boy, I love this optimism. But yes,
So we're talking about a building that was built when?
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna take apart a building that was once a firehouse, once a police station. This wall fell down not too long ago. So dance studio, a library, we don't know what we're gonna find, so.
Yeah, so let's just put on, well, I'll put on my calendar to be a pest about it. And around maybe July, midsummer, we can revisit the visitor welcome center discussion.
I'm not gonna commit to that, but summer,
So I'm happy with summer.
2026.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We're gonna take 5 minutes, and then after that, we will reconvene for our